Have you ever wondered why drinking a huge cup of coffee can sometimes leave you feeling completely wired, jittery, and just a little bit anxious? But drinking a strong cup of green tea, which, let's be real, also packs a decent amount of caffeine, somehow leaves you feeling incredibly focused, yet perfectly calm. Welcome to This Explainer. It is a fascinating biological mystery, and today we are going to completely decode it. We're looking at a truly remarkable compound that essentially biohacks your brain's neurochemistry to unlock a state of hyper-focused relaxation.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the science gets really interesting. How exactly does a beverage packed with a known potent stimulant like caffeine actually calm you down? Well, the secret isn't magic. It's a very specific, naturally occurring amino acid that evolved right inside the tea plant. And what's wild is that modern neuroscience is just now catching up to what avid tea drinkers have known for centuries. Meet the hero of our story today, L-Theanine. Now, this is a non-proteogenic amino acid. All that fancy term means is that it isn't used to build proteins in your body, like the amino acids in your muscles are. It's found almost exclusively in Camellia sinensis, the tea plant, and it makes up about 1 to 2% of the dried weight of the leaves. Interestingly enough, it's also the exact compound responsible for giving high-quality green tea that rich, savory, umami flavor. But its real magic? That doesn't happen in your taste buds. It's what it does once it enters your bloodstream. It promotes a profound, deep sense of relaxation, but, and this is absolutely crucial, without causing any drowsiness whatsoever. Section 1. Rewiring your brainwaves. To understand how L-theanine pulls off this amazing biological balancing act, we need to look right under the hood of our own neurochemistry. And it all starts with incredible speed. 40 minutes, that's it. That is how fast this works. When you consume L-theanine, it absorbs rapidly through your intestinal tract right into your bloodstream. And because of its highly unique chemical structure, it easily slips right past the blood-brain barrier. So within just 40 minutes of ingestion, it is directly interacting with your central nervous system. Once inside the brain, L-theanine acts like a biological traffic cop for your neurotransmitters. It starts modulating several crucial brain chemicals all at once. First, it increases levels of GABA, which is your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, basically the chemical that makes you feel chill and calm. It also gently elevates dopamine and serotonin, which we know are heavily involved in mood, reward, and just general well-being. But honestly, its most fascinating trick is what it does to glutamate. Think of glutamate as the brain's gas pedal. It is an excitatory neurotransmitter. So when you're stressed or anxious, your brain is absolutely flooded with glutamate, causing a ton of neurological static and excitotoxicity. Here's where L-theanine steps in as a competitive antagonist. Its physical shape is so incredibly similar to glutamate that it actually binds to the exact same NMDA receptors in your brain. It's kind of like a fake key fitting into a lock. So if glutamate is a heavy foot stomping on the gas pedal, L-theanine is a thick wooden block wedged right underneath that pedal. It physically blocks those excitatory signals, calming the nerve networks and shielding your brain cells from acute stress. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. Because it's simultaneously boosting that calming GABA while blocking the stressful glutamate, clinical studies show that doses of 50 to 200 milligrams of L-theanine actively increase your alpha brainwaves. Now, alpha waves are the electrical patterns your brain produces when you are awake but deeply relaxed. Think of the feeling you get when you're meditating or lost in a really great creative flow state. It creates a state of alert relaxation, which is exactly why a cup of green tea won't put you to sleep, but it will absolutely wipe out your anxiety. Section 2. The ultimate focus synergy. Now that we have a grip on the neurochemistry, let's look at the most practical application for your daily productivity. Because this is where L-theanine goes from being just a nice relaxant to a powerhouse cognitive enhancer. Let's contrast taking caffeine all by itself versus caffeine paired with L-theanine. We all know caffeine alone blocks adenosine to keep you awake, right? But we also know it can cause the jitters, mental fatigue, and that dreaded harsh energy crash at 2 p.m. Well, rigorous clinical trials show that combining caffeine with L-theanine creates a massive synergistic effect. The L-theanine smooths right over the rough, jittery edges of the caffeine. The data shows this specific stack results in sustained attention, quicker reaction times, and noticeably better inhibitory control, meaning you can literally stop yourself from acting impulsively when a distraction pops up. And to prove just how effective this is, researchers actually put subjects into fMRI machines and scanned their brains in real time while they performed complex visual tasks. The results were amazing. The fMRI scans revealed that the combination of L-theanine and caffeine actively decreased activity in the default mode network of the brain. That's the specific region associated with mind wandering. It physically decreased the brain's reactivity to distractor stimuli. So what does that mean in plain terms? It means it stops you from randomly clicking over to social media when you have a massive deadline looming. It forces your neural resources to lock directly onto the target task. Section 3. Stress, sleep, and ADHD. But L-theanine's benefits extend way beyond just helping you crush a spreadsheet at work. Let's explore the clinical data on its broader mental health, stress management, and recovery benefits. And it's super important we anchor these claims in real scientific rigor. The data we're talking about comes from massive systematic reviews and meta-analyses. In these reviews, researchers use Prisma flow diagrams to painstakingly screen hundreds of initial studies. They filter out all the noise, the poorly designed trials, the biased data, and they isolate the true clinically significant effects of pure L-theanine on human health.
And honestly, the filtered data on sleep is phenomenal. When researchers evaluated nearly 900 participants, they found L-theanine significantly improved sleep onset latency, which is just a fancy way of saying how incredibly fast you fall asleep, and it vastly increased overall sleep efficiency. But here's the kicker. It achieves all of this without causing any significant increase in daytime drowsiness. Because it doesn't act like a harsh, groggy sedative, it improves your sleep quality simply by subduing the stress and anxiety that keep your brain racing when your head hits the pillow.
And because of this profound ability to modulate neurotransmitters, the field of psychiatry is taking a really close look at L-theanine as an adjunctive treatment. Now, to be perfectly clear, this is not a replacement for prescribed medications, but systematic reviews show it has massive potential as a complementary nutraceutical. It's been shown to help manage symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder, improve inhibitory control and sleep in kids with ADHD, and remarkably, even relieve anxiety symptoms in patients with schizophrenia when used alongside their standard therapies.
It even works on a physical hormonal level. Studies done on university students who are undergoing a highly stressful pharmacy practice showed that taking L-theanine lowered their salivary alpha amylase. That's a primary biological marker for physical stress and nervous system excitation. Essentially, L-theanine actually suppresses the HPA axis, which is your body's main stress response system, acting as a biological shield during high-pressure, totally anxiety-inducing situations.
Section 4, the final verdict.
Okay, we have covered a lot of dense neurochemistry today, from NMDA receptors to fMRI brain scans. Let's bring this explainer home and translate all of this data into practical, empowering takeaways that you can actually use in your daily life. So the crucial point is getting the dosage right based on what you actually want to achieve. According to the systematic reviews, if your goal is improving daily sleep quality without that nasty next-day grogginess, your optimal concentration is right under 200 milligrams. If you're facing acute stress and anxiety, studies suggest a slightly higher range. Around 200 to 400 milligrams is going to be the most effective. And if you are chasing that peak cognitive focus and sustained attention, you absolutely want to combine it directly with caffeine to unlock that incredible neurosynergy. You know, it is incredibly rare in biology to find a single compound that can simultaneously relax your nervous system while completely sharpening your mind. But we've seen the data, we've looked at the brain scans, and we've decoded the mechanism. So I'll leave you with this thought to reflect on. Could the key to unlocking calm, hyper-focused productivity really be hiding in a simple cup of tea, or maybe a targeted amino acid supplement? The science certainly points to yes. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next explainer.